Listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
Good morning, it's October the 6th, and welcome to Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News. Cindy has the day off, but I have 5 stories for today. But first, don't forget to hit the subscribe and follow button. And by the looks of it, I am not airing at a lot of Facebook locations. But, hey, what can you do? I will just continue on with the news. Today, we'll be visiting the U.S., Colombia, Canada. Plus, we're learning about a new discovery involving Switzerland and Italian researchers. But first, we're going to head to Indonesia, where people face the death penalty. Correct, the death penalty for cannabis. And that's why we can't stop the advocacy work that we're doing. Just because cannabis is legal here in Canada doesn't mean that we just stop. But unfortunately, that's what it looks like when you look at the rallies that go on in the city. Unlike in the past, when thousands of people would show, you're lucky if you get, 100 people now. So, but all we can do is keep marching and keep fighting, and hopefully sometime sooner than later that people won't face the death penalty for cannabis. But alrighty, here we go. First story of the day. This one comes to me from Marijuana Moment, and the headline says just that. American basketball player faces potential death penalty over medical cannabis after an arrest in Indonesia. Yeah, he's an American basketball player is potentially facing the death penalty or a lengthy prison sentence after being arrested in Indonesia over possession of cannabis gummies. He said he was using them for medical purposes to treat his Crohn's disease. I have Crohn's disease. Jared Shaw, a 35-year-old Texan who's played internationally with the team Prawira Bandung and helped secure a victory in the 2023 Indonesian Basketball League, was arrested in May by Indonesian law enforcement after receiving a package of over 100 gummies. Indonesia has extremely punitive drug laws, including for cannabis, and the crime carries the possibility of capital punishment. Shaw conceded in an interview with The Guardian recently that he made a stupid mistake, but he explained that he uses cannabis to treat symptoms for his gastrointestinal issues. He says, "I use cannabis as medicine. I have an inflammatory condition called Crohn's disease that's incurable." Correct, it's incurable. There's no medicine apart from cannabis that stops my stomach from aching, he says, and goes on to continue with, "I made a stupid mistake. There's people telling me I'm about to spend the rest of my life in prison over some edibles." Now, the cannabis gummies he purchased and that were delivered to him before being swarmed and arrested by police weighed 869 grams, resulting in a charge that accused him of possessing essentially a kilo of cannabis, even though most of the weight was from non-cannabis components of the edible. The State Department spokesman told Marijuana Moment that they are aware of the reports of a U.S. citizen detained in Indonesia, but that due to privacy considerations, we have no further comment. And that's why we got to keep advocating worldwide. Just because it's legal here in Canada and some other countries doesn't mean you stop. You got people that are potentially being hung to death for gummies. How is that right? Correct. It's not. That's why people got to speak up and say more. Alrighty, here we go. On to my next story of the day. That one gets me upset, so I'll just leave it at that, and we'll go on to the next one. Here we go. This one's coming to me from StratCan. Headline, the headline on this one says that Ontario cannabis retailers calling for a coordinated effort against unlicensed stores. A group calling itself Retailers for Enforcement is calling on the Ontario government to take action against the surge of illegal storefronts and unlicensed online sellers in the province. The group has organized a campaign to encourage cannabis business owners and others to contact the provincial representatives to come up with a more comprehensive province-wide approach to managing these kinds of illicit operators. Now, Vish Joshi, founder of Forever Buds and a lead organizer of the campaign, says the lack of enforcement is threatening the integrity of the legal cannabis system. While retailers like himself, he says, pay a high price to operate in the legal market, it's unfair to have to compete with an unenforced, unregulated market, he says. It goes on with Ontario's legal cannabis ecosystem was built to protect Canadian consumers through strict regulations, quality controls, and accountability. But Doug Ford's government is allowing the illicit market, including illegal storefronts and unlicensed e-commerce websites, to penetrate that system unchecked. Now, the province took a heavy-handed law enforcement approach years ago. Some of you may remember Project Claudia. This was in the lead up to legalization, but somewhat more measured after October the 17th. Now, bylaw officers are now often left to handle illegal stores in cities like Toronto, an approach that appears to have encouraged some more gutsy entrepreneurs to operate in the open again, with seemingly little concern or expectation of any kind of enforcement. The goal of this latest campaign is to call for the province to better emulate approaches taken by provinces like BC, which has a provincial cannabis enforcement team. Oh, yes, we know about them. Rather than offloading those duties to municipalities and local police. Now, Omar Khan of High Tide says it. As Canada's regulated cannabis industry continues to mature, one of the greatest threats to its success and to public safety remains the persistence of the illicit market. Despite legalization, illicit operators continue to undercut legal businesses to exploit consumers and avoid basic standards of safety and accountability. That's why we support Ontario and other provinces following BC's lead by creating a dedicated unit empowered under administrative law to seize legal cannabis and lay fines more appropriate. Another one in British Columbia, people quite often say that the police didn't show up and raid them. The police showed up and stole their product because the product is removed and there's no charges left. So, let's see what else here. It says here that as part of Ontario's 2024 economic and fiscal outlook in brief, the provincial government is committing to invest $31 million over the next 3 years to support the provincial joint forces cannabis enforcement teams. And this OPP-led centralized enforcement unit focuses on the cannabis file. So I can just see that we'll have a cannabis safety unit like they do in British Columbia, maybe coming here in Canada down the road. Or Ontario anyways. Alrighty, from there, I'll move on to my next story. Even though Facebook won't allow me to broadcast there today, still get the news out. That's why it's nice to be able to broadcast to more than one platform. Alrighty, here we go. On to the next story. This headline on this one from the International Cannabis Business Conference. Colombia study finds CBD to be effective for dogs. Correct, it is. The cannabis industry, as it pertains to products geared towards human patients, gets lots of attention these days, and rightfully so. A growing body of scientific research and patient experiences demonstrates that cannabis is an effective and safe form of medicine. However, The wellness benefits of cannabis are not reserved just for humans. Medical cannabis products designed to treat pets, particularly dogs, are expanding in scope and availability in many jurisdictions around the world. A team of scientific investigators affiliated with the University of Antigua in Colombia recently conducted a study examining the effectiveness and safety of CBD for cats and dogs. The study's findings were published in the Journal of Small Animal Practice. It says a systematic review was conducted across PubMed, Lilacs, Scopus, and Google Scholar from February 2014 to February 2024. The research strategy included both mesh terms and free text keywords related to medical cannabis, including medical marijuana, cannabis, and cannabicrica. That one I've never heard of. Combined with terms referring to domestic cats and dogs. The researchers stated about their methodology. Now, additionally, title, abstract keywords, including cannabis, were used to retrieve literature on cannabinoids and the therapeutic applications. The 22 articles were identified examining cannabidiol-based formulations for osteoarthritis, epilepsy, atopic dermatitis, post-surgical pain, and behavioral issues. Cannabis-based products for medicinal use with cannabidiol as the primary active constituent demonstrated improvements in pain, behavior, and seizures with no serious adverse effects, the researchers found. While promising, the long-term efficacy, effectiveness, optimal dosages, and safety of cannabis-based products for medical use remain unclear. Further studies are needed to confirm the therapeutic potential and ensure safety veterinary use. Now, the researchers concluded the global that's what they concluded. Now, the global cannabidiol pet market was worth an estimated $693 million in 2023, according to a recent market analysis by Global Market Insights. Now, the CBD pet product market is projected to grow at an estimated 18% from 2024 to 2032. That's a big growth over time, for sure. And yeah, there's lots of people out there now who are giving their dogs cannabis in order to help them with a better quality life. So, all righty, that one's gone. And we're going to move on to the next story as I get it all ready here. And this story is coming to me from the Marijuana Moment, where the headline says, scientists discover new compound with remarkable antioxidant and skin anti-inflammatory benefits. The story says, a new cannabis compound that appears to have remarkable antioxidant and skin anti-inflammatory properties has been discovered by scientists. The isolated cannabinoid, classified as cannabitol, CBGD is what the short form is, shows promise for the expanding base of knowledge regarding the therapeutic and medical potential for the cannabis plant. Now, CBGD is formed when two cannabinoids molecules bind together with the methylene bridge, the researchers explained in a new paper. Aside from its promising medical findings, CBGD is also one of the rare compounds in a class known as dimeric cannabinoids, one of only 4 dimeric molecules currently identified in cannabis. The study says that they demonstrated that cannabitol, which is that CBGD, exhibits remarkable antioxidant and skin anti-inflammatory activity significantly higher than that observed by the known dimeric cannabinoid cannabinoid. Sorry, people. Now, the Italian and Swiss authors, writing in September 2025 issue of the peer-reviewed Journal of Natural Products, said their results suggest that among the many still unknown cannabinoids, there are also methylene bridge dimmers for other cannabinoids, including dimmers composed of 2 different cannabinoids with potential biological activities of great interest. the synthesis of analytical standards could be useful in facilitating the identification of these cannabinoids in cannabis extracts, they wrote, adding that natural dimeric cannabinoids are of considerable importance as they enable further exploitation of chemical space, potentially leading to novel biological activities beyond those of their respective monomers. Now, the chemists examined the NF-kBA molecule pathway that seems to serve as a master switch for inflammation, given the prolific nature of its impact across a wide range of cells that leads to the condition. Now, cannabinol, which is CBGD, appears to show the potential of inhibiting inflammation. So let's hope it does, and let's hope that they can do some more research, find out, and help patients down the road. So unfortunately, these things just don't happen overnight sometimes, and need more reports and more information. It's just when they say these things over and over and over again for years on end that it sort of gets frustrating. So, alrighty, time for me to bring up the last story of today, and this one comes to me from Penn today. And it headline says that psilocybin targets brain circuits to relieve chronic pain and depression. Now, researchers at Penn Medicine have identified specific brain circuits that are impacted by psilocybin, the active compound found in some psychedelic mushrooms, which could lead to new paths forward for pain and mental health management options. Chronic pain affects more than 1.5 million people worldwide and is often deadly entangled with depression and anxiety, creating a vicious cycle that amplifies suffering and impairs quality of life. The study from Perelman School of Medicine, published in Nature Neuroscience, offers new insight into ways to disrupt this cycle. It says, as an anesthesiologist, I frequently care for people undergoing surgery who suffer from both chronic pain and depression. In many cases, they're not sure which condition came first, but often one makes the other worse, says Joseph Sisson, an assistant professor of anesthesiology in critical care at Penn and senior author of the study. Now, the new study offers hope, he says. These findings often open the door to developing new, non-opioid, non-addictive therapies, as psilocybin and related psychedelics are not considered addictive. By administering a single dose of psilocybin, the researchers found both pain and pain-induced anxiety and depression-like behaviors were reduced, with those benefits lasting almost 2 weeks. Now, psilocybin acts by gently activating specific brain signals called serotonin receptors. Now, unlike other signals or other drugs that fully turn these signals on and off, psilocybin acts more like a dimmer switch, says Kretchen, and turning it just to the right level. Now, researchers believe the findings from this study could also inform therapies for other conditions involving dysregulated brain circuits, such as addiction or post-traumatic stress injury, as we like to call PTSD here. So there we go. Mushrooms. Just amazing what they keep finding when it comes to the benefits of mushrooms, magic mushrooms. The psilocybin is just doing wonders for many people. Alrighty. Other than that, I'm done for today. Weather-wise, I'm looking nice and sunny out there. Don't forget, if you liked what you heard, check out some of our other stuff as well. Hit the subscribe button and follow button. Other than that, that's a report for today. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to our sponsors, Limestone City Hydroponics.com, At-Eze.ca, and the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. We'll see you again Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. And don't forget to educate medicate, and do not incarcerate.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.